Labrīt! Sveicināti visi, kuri pieslēgušies Izaugsmes programmas 6. kārtas noslēdzošajai lekcijai, kas veltīta finansējuma piesaistei. Šī jau ir tiešām 6. un noslēdzošā lekcija. Esam izrunājuši ļoti daudz, ko sākot no biznesa ambīcijas, turpinot ar labāku lietotāju izpratni, ar produktu pilnveidošanu, mārketingu, un tad beidzot esam nonākuši pie arī ļoti svarīga punkta par to, kur tad iegūt papildus finansējumu, ko varat ieguldīt savas biznesa idejas attīstībā. Un, lai gan šī ir pēdējā 6. izaugsmes programmas kārtas lekcija, varu pateikt priekšā visiem interesantiem, ka pavisam drīz, jau februāra sākumā, arī sāksies pieteikšanās 7. izaugsmes programmas kārtai. Tādēļ aicinu arī sekot līdzi mūsu informācijas kanālos jaunumiem, kad tā pieteikšanās tiks atvērta. Bet par šīs dienas lekciju runājot, tad varu pateikt, ka šī lekcija, manuprāt, būs noderīga ne tikai jau darbojošiem uzņēmumiem, bet arī tiem, kuri vēl tikai domā varbūt par kādu biznesa idejas attīstību, jo šīs dienas lekcijā pieskarsimies tam, kādi finansējuma avoti ir piemēroti dažādos uzņēmuma attīstības posmos, kas jāņem vērā, veidojot investīciju piesaistes stratēģiju, un lektori arī padalīsies ar dažiem padomiem savas biznesa idejas prezentēšanai. Bet tā kā mūsu šīs dienas lektore mums pievienojas no Polijas šodien, tad es arī pārslēgšos uz angļu valodu. So our today's lecturer who will help our companies dive into fundraising and finance attraction is Anna Magiera. Hi, Anna.
Hi, hello.
So Anna is finance and fundraising advisor, and she has more than 15 years of experience in the field. Surprisingly so when you look back, right? So Anna definitely has a lot of practical information to share because she has been working with corporates and like more traditional businesses and startups as well. So she has managed portfolios of venture capital funds, invested more than €2 million in various startups, and launched 4 mobility startups as well. So pretty impressive, I must say. So yes, Anna, please, the floor is yours. We are ready to get a little piece of your knowledge.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you very much for the invitation, for the introduction. All the teams and all the participants for joining us this morning. So today we will be talking about the fundraising, the process itself, how to get ready, what to do to succeed. And I hope that this practical advice and some insights that I've gathered using my latest cases and workings with the small businesses, and this will be useful for you as well. So we will be happy to answer any questions that you will have at the end. And now I will follow our agenda. So today we will be talking about overall the ways that exist for funding your business. Actually, there are a lot of them, and you definitely have to look at every way and analyze all the advantages and disadvantages for your particular stage and for your particular situation. We'll speak about the funding stages and what types of investors are available and applicable for every stage. We'll speak about an important thing as an fundable business idea, how to actually, what are the criteria that investors use to understand whether this investment opportunity is worth investing in or not. We will talk about, some pieces of advice on how to succeed in the process. What are the key steps? Because it's important to understand what is the flow, the usual flow. Of course, every business has their own experience, but still there are some usual scenarios, and you should be definitely ready for those. I will also dedicate some time to the investment deck, as my workshop is followed by the financial modeling workshop, so you will be talking about that, but I will cover the investment deck part, as these are 2 documents which you definitely have to get prepared before you start fundraising. I will talk a little bit about building the investment relations, because this is an important part, and this is definitely something you have to dedicate your time to succeed. And as the process of fundraising includes some important steps like due diligence, we will discuss what you have to do from the day one, actually from starting maybe today or tomorrow, to be ready for this process and to finalize it with the positive outcome for your business. So let's start. Here is I'm pretty sure that some of these ways for funding your business are pretty obvious for you, but let's discuss what are the cons and pros of each funding source, so to say, and how you can benefit from them, and when you should consider each of the source. So first of all, there's no better way to fund your business when funded yourself. And here we speak about not only like funding yourself and bootstrapping, investing your own money, but also by creating the business model and monetizing your clients from the day one. So this is the source which is the most attractive and least expensive for any business, because you don't have to share any equity, you don't have to spend a lot of time and resources on the fundraising process, etc. And of course, this comes with, as I mentioned, business model and planning your finances right. So make sure that you have, that you understand the unit economics of your business, that you understand the revenue streams, and you understand when actually the money will start coming in, so that that you're like not lacking the resources as you start. The next source, which is also very often used by small businesses, this is like, it's called 3 Fs, right? Friends, family, and fools. But fools in the way that these are the crazy people that are ready to support you early, because usually you attract this financing on early stage when you have either only the idea or the idea and very small, operations. That's why this is usually like not investing in the business as business, but mostly investing in you, right? In you as a founder or in your team, because your team is a very promising team. And no matter what, whether this business or like pivoting and finding another way to implement your solution into the market, you will find your way, right? So this is actually a good source, and sometimes people don't even consider that, but this is again usually not so expensive as like talking to investors. That's why you definitely should understand what are the possibilities, right? So whether there are anybody in your network, in your close network, like are there people that are able and ready to support you? If so try to talk to them early and understand whether there is any interest from their side, what are the expectations, etc. So here it's very important when you involve anyone into your business, it's very important to keep their expectations at the realistic level. So you should definitely talk to them about your plans, about your strategy, about when actually money will be coming in, because sometimes some people that have invested in some, classical instruments, they expect that you will be giving them some returns next month, right? But usually, starting with the small business, it won't work that way, because it's much more it's much smarter to reinvest the money that you earn into the business and scale. So that's something you definitely need to talk through these people and make sure that they share your strategy. Not just they are giving you money and then they will be, knocking at your door asking for the returns, but they will be fine, building this, this company together with you, supporting you. Crowdfunding. Another very common way for some specific startups. Again, this won't work for every business idea, but for some ideas, it's a good way to fund your operations. Very important thing here is that thinking about crowdfunding, it's more about actually finding the product market fit and getting first kind of pre-orders, right? And getting the audience, then actually funding your business. So it's more about that. Also important thing about crowdfunding is that you definitely have to understand the mechanics very well. You definitely have to involve a marketing person or person with the crowdfunding experience. There are such people that help launch campaigns, and they know what works, what doesn't work, because this is there's a handbook, right? So crowdfunding is on the market for a long time. That means that there are some specific guidelines that you can follow to succeed, and some things are just, they don't work. So but crowdfunding, this will cost you some money. So it's good when it's very good instrument in case you have a very active community that you have built already. So in this case, it will definitely work for you. In case you don't have any community and not many people know about your product, your solution, that might be very costly for you and not give you the results you want. So when you are considering that, please definitely make sure that you have seen all the success cases, that you understand whether this is applicable for your specific solution, and try to speak to some people that either have launched their campaigns or have supported some companies with that, so that they can provide you with, some personalized feedback for your specific idea. Another one, accelerators, incubators, and all the programs that different companies and organizations they have. So again, not every accelerator and incubator has a financing as a part of the perks. So you need to understand what are your goals, and if your goal is to actually get funded, not to go through the acceleration framework, work with advisors and mentors, etc. But you are focused only on funding. Then you definitely need to search for the specific accelerators and incubators that actually suggest that kind of, they offer that as a part of their package, and you need to understand the terms, right? Because some accelerators, they provide a very small check, onboarding check, so to say, that help you with some starting steps, but the larger amount is usually distributed between some small amount of teams that they choose after the acceleration. So it means that you will have to go through this process and dedicate your time to that. So, and this is usually like it's not like getting money tomorrow, because it takes time. But I would say that none of these sources is bringing you money tomorrow, right? So you definitely need to dedicate some time to that. But for example, talking to your family or friends and getting some money from them might be much more faster than applying for different accelerators and getting money from them. Usually, it's when talking about accelerators and incubators, it's not about money. It's more about the support that you get from advisors and network and all the materials and potential introductions to your customers, etc. Another important source is European grants. There are a lot of money that are available for small and medium businesses, because it's understandable that starting you need some capital, and again, the grants, they are applicable for specific topics, but today I would say that it's very broad, and I've looked at the profiles of the teams that have been participating in the program. So I think that the majority of the ideas are actually eligible for the EU grants. So definitely something to look at. I was looking at what are the topics that are, so to say, on the agenda today and might be relevant. So, of course, anything related to health issues. We know pandemic brought this topic like at the top of the agenda. Again, something that is not only supported by like European grants, but also by different governments. These are all the initiatives related to climate and to the energy. So this is very important. And again, if you are solving the problems related to that topic, so that definitely might be a good fit for you. So again, everything what is about any innovations related to food tech is also very much on the agenda. And I know that there are some teams that are working on the topics like that. So definitely something to consider. Here again, this is not something that happens in a day. You have to look for the appropriate program or grant. You have to apply. Then there is a process of that takes some time when your application is reviewed, and then when you are actually getting the money. So it is the process. But anyway, this is a very good support for the companies which have the R&D element in them, or they have they are solving one of the problems that is on the agenda today, and definitely equity-free money that can help you, start your operations and get to the level when you either don't need any funding anymore, or you can be ready for talking to venture capitalists. Another way is credit or loan. I understand that having a debt might be not that attractive, but I know companies that started with taking a loan, a business loan, and actually that worked out well for them, and so that it was faster. But again, in this case, you need to understand that there should be something that you bring on the table, right? So you can't just take a credit because you have a great idea. That's why it's not that easy again, but might be less stressful than the fundraising process with venture capitalists, for example. Angel investors. With angel investors, again, this way is a good way of financing during your first years of operations. Angel investors, these are individuals or group of individuals which are either kind of professional because they invest regularly in different topics, and they know how to do that. They know what to expect. Sometimes angel investors they become angel investors with you, right? So you might be their first investment opportunity. So that is why when you're considering what is the best option for you, I always advise to look broader, to think what are the people in the network whom you know, who knows someone, because with angel investors it's usually either a direct connection to you, so the person knows you, or the person knows somebody who can recommend you warmly. So that's why it's in your network. Nobody can help you with that. It's something you do yourself. Of course, there are some angel networks, and they have official websites, and you can actually apply to those websites, and they review the applications on a regular basis. So this is also a way, and I will definitely include that into your fundraising strategy. But think about those who know you, because people who know you, they can be much easier to convince, because they know your successes, etc. And the last in my list, but it's also because venture capital is actually, these are money that are eligible for a company when you already have something. Yes, so usually venture capitalists, they come in when you already have some traction, because this is not their money to invest. They invest their LP's money. That's why they are very selective with the opportunities. Of course, there exist some funds which call themselves pre-seed funds. So that means that they are looking at the companies on the idea stage, but usually there is some story behind that. So yeah, they might invest into company that has into the team, so to say, right? The team with an idea. But if this team is a star team, meaning that someone has some successes in the past and etc. So usually there is something behind that. It's very uncommon that venture capitalists invest in very early in the ideas without any with new formed teams, first time founders, etc. So this case is less common, right? So these are the ways, and actually it's very important to understand. At every stage, you can look at different ways to finance your company. Because as I mentioned, for venture capitalists, for example, it's not that attractive to look at the companies when they have just into teams, into businesses. Then this is just an idea and maybe some research done, etc. So they want to see the traction. They want to see a product market fit, right? And product market fit is usually comes with the traction. So when you are at the idea stage, so this is usually like your money or just your resources, right? We're not talking only about money, because on the idea stage, this is time that you spend on your project together with other co-founders, for example. And you might be earning money in some doing some job for someone else, but you are dedicating this time, so you are investing your time, so money into the company. Then you already have something, because to talk to your friends and family, still you have to show them something, right? Some deck, some presentation. So it means you have to work on your idea before that. You definitely have to put together the solution, the understanding of the market, competitive landscape, etc. So there are things to be done before you actually go to your friends, family, and fools. But these people, they support you early as well. Pre-seed stage, usually on the pre-seed stage you will already have some kind of MVP, a landing page, or some very simple website that helps you to do something. Now I know that there are already some solutions that help you build your application very easily, right? So it becomes much easier with every year to actually build your product. Of course, it doesn't mean that you will have a fully featured product with all the functionalities, etc. But you definitely can build something that will help you to talk to your customers and to understand their problems better, etc. So pre-seed stage is usually the stage when you are supported by angel investors. Or again, friends, family, and fools. But here it's also time for the angel investors, because when you have at least some version on the MVP, you can show something. Probably you can already show some traction. Then it's a good reason and a good good reason to start conversations with angels. Seed stage. On a seed stage, you have more opportunities, because there are more investors that are interested. There are some funds which are supported by government, and they are actually dedicated to the early stages. So seed stage is already like a bit easier in terms of funding your business, but of course, still fundraising is always a challenge. But on a seed stage, these are usually angels. Again, they can come in and continue this is called follow-on investment, right? So they might invest a couple of times into your business. If they see the results, they continue believing in you, and you show them some proof, and they like what you're doing. So they might continue supporting you, and then you might find some venture capitalists that are ready to invest on the seed stage. But usually on the seed stage, you have some traction, and not only in numbers, like we have some clients, some free users, but already some money coming in, meaning revenue traction. So then comes different stages like Series A, Series B, Series C, depending on what kind of, what size of the business you want to build. So here it's, again, Series A is also sometimes supported by angels, but mostly by venture capitalists, or there is also one important type of investors, which is sometimes forgotten, but these are corporate investors, right? So we know that today a lot of corporations, large corporations, international corporations, they do have their venture arms. So they have some department, some people, some team that is actually looking for the opportunities that might either help to make the product that the corporation is building or solution better, or they are looking for the products which can bring additional value to the customer base that the corporation has. So and that's a really very good opportunity for some businesses that are building something that is relevant for the corporation. So I would definitely consider this because such corporations, they do have some programs, they do have some financing. Of course, this means that you will be working with this corporation, and probably if they become your financial partner. So this means that there will be some restraints on how you work with other players on the market, but still it might be figured out, and very often it's a good case because it brings you, it might help you get to a huge number of potential users very fast, right? So without going there by yourself, but getting there with the help of your partner. So definitely think about the companies, corporations that might be interested in either your technology or in your business model or in your in the added value you might bring to their customers. Growth stage is usually supported by venture capitalists, and on the exit stage. Here sometimes again there is the investment that comes just before the exit. So here like 5, 6, and 7, these are mostly with the venture capitalists or the venture arms of the corporate and strategic investors, right? So these corporate investors, they are often called strategic investors. So because they can help you strategically scale. So we understand now what are the ways to fund your business idea. We understand what to actually expect on every stage, but how to understand whether this is the right time to speak to anyone about investing into your business. So there are some criteria. These are the basic criteria, and they are actually used by the investors to make up their mind. So the most important thing is about solving a real problem. There are sometimes there are no problem, or this problem is just kind of small pain that happens occasionally. And for investors, it's important to see the huge opportunity, right? So the huge opportunity means that you're solving a real pain of many people, right? So this might be scaled. Probably today you're working on a small market and you're working with some specific, a clientele, but there is an opportunity, right? So there is an opportunity to scale that because this is actually the problem which is faced by many others, right? So it's great to have it in different ways. So meaning that this might be, for example, you're solving the problem in one industry, and this is a huge industry, and there are a lot of potential customers, either companies that might use our solution or there are a lot of people that are actually they are experiencing these problems on a daily basis. Another thing is you might find your solution might be applicable for different industries, and you start from one, you have some focus, but then you understand that you can actually penetrate a lot of different industries with your proposition, and that might work as well. So you can show the potential in different ways, but it's important that there is a real problem, not just something that you think is problematic or your close environment thinks so. So there should be the proof of of many people interested in that. Another one, having a great team. So on early stage, it's crucial. It's very important. So what does it mean, great team, right? Because these are just words, but there is something behind that. So when investors are looking, any kind of investors, angel investors, when you are applying for grants, they also ask you to show them your team CVs. So what are they looking for, right? So first of all, they are looking for the relevant expertise, not just like we are very experienced businessmen. No, they are looking for relevant expertise, that you are building something that you understand so well that you already have advantage like on the market, because well, of course others might know something as you, but you know the market inside, outside, you know every trend, you have been working in this market for so long, and this is actually very important. Another one is that you have core expertises in-house, meaning that, okay, so if we are building a tech product, then we have a tech team in-house. If we are building some scientific products, so it means that we have relevant PhDs on board. So you definitely need to make sure that when you start talking to others and ask them for their money, you have already built the team that will be able to execute what you're promising. So that's very important. You can make any experiments and work on your idea in your free time, spending your money as long as you want. But if you want to take somebody else's money, then you have to get people on board with you and actually sell your idea to somebody else, you know, not being a solo founder. So it's important that you have people with you. In case sometimes it happens that you have like 80% of the expertise on board, but something is missing. Very often what is missing is marketing expertise or selling expertise, right? So you don't have a person on board who has a huge background in selling to these kind of customers. So what to do, right? Well, you can't just come and lie, say that we have this person. You should show what you have. So in this case, you can find an advisor. You can find an advisor, and advisory board usually brings credibility and helps you show that the people that already have some success stories, they have done they have achieved something in this industry or on this market. They believe in you, they believe in your idea, and they are actually ready to dedicate some time to you. So, because usually people that have succeeded, they are busy people. So if they really are ready to dedicate some time to you and your product, your solution, your business, that means that they believe in you and they believe in your success. And it makes investors believe as well. So make sure that if you don't have people, required people on board, you cover that, with advisory board. Of course, it's very good when teams, they had some previous experience of working together. That's a good one, because it means that you won't be experiencing some first time working together things. And I've seen many times that teams that were created just to work on some business idea and just ad hoc, right? So they don't survive, they don't continue in the same in the same form. It's not a problem. Well, it happens. But I mean that if there is someone who has worked with you, especially in the same industry or in the same market for a long time, and you have known each other, and you supplement each other with your skills, that's a good one. That's really an advantage. Another criteria, traction. So it's important. And traction, very often teams think, okay, so we don't have paying customers, so we don't have any traction. No. Of course, having paying customers, that's a dream all of us have, and we want to have paying customers, and because that's the best proof of that we actually building something that is required. But early stage, the traction might be different, right? So when you are early stage business, you might think about getting a letter of intent from potential customer, right? So this is also something that is perceived as attraction. So having some partnerships. So if you are able to negotiate with some large companies, some terms of a partnership that will help you to actually get to your potential customers, that also is a very good thing. And this is perceived as an initial traction, because your ability to persuade somebody, to join you, to help you, to help you get to your customers, this is an important thing, and you definitely should consider that as attraction. Also, today it's having a crowdfunding campaign and getting pre-orders. This is traction. Just having your landing page and getting some requests for customers to actually get your product. So these all might be considered as traction, pre-revenue and post-revenue traction, but still, you just need to think about, okay, how can we actually get proof of the product market fit? So having customers say that they want what you do, and of course the best way how you can make them pay for that, right? So that's the best. Another one is offering unique selling proposition. You will be asked by every investor that, okay, so what is it that you are doing that nobody else is doing, right? So what is so different about you? And here you should always look at your selling proposition from the perspective of the client, right? Not just because we have looked at other players on the market and we see that this is what they lack, we will add all this and we will be better. Well, but do customers want these additional features? Are these features important to the customers? Probably those players are not adding that because the customers don't want it, don't need it. Never underestimate your competition, because if there are some competitors that indirect competitors, doesn't matter. If there are some players on the market that are already doing something and getting somewhere, think that they have already gone the whole journey you are doing now. So they've done some mistakes. If they are not doing something, probably this is because they have a very heavy reason not to do it. So make sure that your unique selling proposition is comes from your understanding of your customer needs, and that you definitely have something that is absolutely different and that brings you this advantage or advantages, and will help you actually get the customers, probably take the customers from other players on the market, or just to get all the new customers that will be coming to the market. Another is the timing. The timing is crucial also, because there are so many teams that have started too early, they couldn't sell their idea to investors and to the customers because it was too early. So make sure that the timing is right, and that's why it's very often on you will see in the pitch deck templates slide, which is called "Why Now?" Right? So sometimes there are some trends on the market, or some situation on the market, or something that makes it just ideal to go out there today or this year. So make sure that you explain that to investors, and they always want to get on the train which is going to some promising land. They don't want to get to some shrinking market that is that of course you might get some money there, but it will be like the opportunity will close very soon. So they want to see that there is some potential and growing potential. And the last one from these criteria is having go-to-market strategy. Very often neglected. And one of the reasons, I guess, is because not every team has marketing expertise on board from the day one, and that's why there is like we have to do everything. We can do everything, and to build the right go-to-market strategy, you need to know the market, not just from the perspective of okay, we have worked on the market, we know the pains, but also what are the strategies? How do we sell? How do we market? That's very important. And having a person in-house or an advisor who can help you build a winning go-to-market strategy is one of the winning points. If you understand how you can get to your customers fast, easy, and with small money, you are the winner. You're the winners, and that's important to understand that it's not only about okay, so we will be using Google search and some organic, so we will be doing some marketing campaigns. That's it. No, that doesn't work like that. You need to think, big. You need to think, okay, what kinds of partnerships may bring me easily to thousands of my users? What kind of, strategic partner might help me sell faster? So these are the things that you have to think about, and definitely having some ideas, creative ideas, will help you win investor intention. But also important today are the sustainable criteria, because nowadays more and more investors are becoming responsible investors. It's not just becoming because it's popular, no, because this is the important, it's trend, but it's important trend. And you can't just, invest money and support the trends that will just leave all of the people out of jobs in a couple of years, or jeopardize the security. So there are some important things that investors they have been thinking about that for a long time, and they have. I remember that when I was just having some starting some conversation with investors, and usually it comes like, when you work in the fund and they work in the fund, you just present yourself as okay. So this is what we do. This is what we invest in. What do you prefer to invest in? So usually this went without saying, right? That we don't invest in some ideas which are just wrong for the climate, for the society, etc. But today, more and more attention is brought to that, and that's good. I think that's good, and that also helps you to understand what are the messages, important messages in your pitch that might, make the investor more interested and bring their attention to you. So there are like three categories of these criteria: environmental, social, and governance. Again, these are the topics, as I mentioned when I was talking about the European grants, so the topics which are supported by the European programs in money. So these are many of them are reflected here. So it's all about the climate change and energy efficiency, waste management. It's about human rights, about gender equality, data security. It's about the actually business ethics and culture, and how you build your board, and how you own the company, who are the C-level people, etc. So these things are important to investors as well. So make sure that you are actually building something, and you have to be up to date, right? You have to understand what are the what is important for the investor, and how you, as a business, how you can actually be a better fit for that, right? So investment strategy. It's a very important part of the fundraising process itself. This is the initial point, and sometimes what I see is that teams, they start fundraising without having a strategy, and that sometimes of course it's successful. And because they are good in that, or they are just lucky, but often I see why teams are not successful with their fundraising campaign. It's because they don't have the investment strategy, because they don't understand what investors are looking for. They don't understand what they can offer. They don't understand what are the ways of financing, etc. So let me give you just very high-level bullet points that will help you to start thinking about your fundraising strategy, investment strategy. So first of all, you need to understand what company you're building. You're starting small, but what do you want to have in 10 years? So what will it be? Do you want to build a company and that will be just on the market, so to say, forever, and another player that will be strong and international, or you want to build a company that might be acquired by another strategic player in 5 years, or you want to build a company that will go to IPO. So that's very important to understand which company you're building, and this is something that you will actually be telling to your first investors. Even if you're talking to your family, still you need to explain them what you want to achieve in 5-10 years. So what is your long-term vision, and what is the goal, right? So because investors, they are interested in the final point. They are interested in what will be the process, the journey of. Always say that the destination doesn't matter, the journey matters, but still they want to know what's there at the end, right? So that's why make sure that this might change. Sure, this might change. In a couple of years, you will see the opportunity and your strategy will change, but still. Today, what do you want to build today? Another one is to understand what is the required amount of financing, and that's something that you will be covering after my workshop on the financial modeling. That's very important. Without having a financial forecast, never ever start talks to investors. There might be one exception. If investors come to you, they come to you, they find you somehow, and they come and say, "Oh, guys, you're doing something great. We want to invest in you." This happens very rarely, but if that happens, you might not have all the numbers ready. But if you want to raise some funds, grants or crowdfunding or venture capital, whatever is the form, you need to know how much money you actually need. What is the amount? That's why you need a financial forecast for at least a couple of years, so that you understand what are the what the money are coming in, what are the costs, etc. Next important part is understanding your current valuation, fair market value. This is not very easy on early stage. It's much easier than you have operating business, and you can actually use a cash flow method or multiple multipliers from the market. But even on early stage, there are methods which are used in the industry to actually understand what is your valuation. They value criteria like having the product, having the team, having the revenues, etc., and just give you some average number. And it's important that actually there are averages on the markets for every stage of your business development. There is some average price that this business might be sold for, right? Or like being invested into, but with the price on it. So these numbers are well, maybe not that easy to find, but still you can understand that, and you should definitely understand your valuation before you go to investors. You need to understand what kind of financing do you want. Do you want an equity financing or non-equity financing? Equity financing means that you are giving away some equity for the money you're getting. Non-equity financing means that you are not giving away anything. For example, you're signing a safe or convertible note. That means that the shares will convert on the next investment round. So it's important to understand because everything depends on that. Equity and non-equity financing, there are different terms used to cover those deals. You need to understand what is your offer to investors. So when you understand how much money do you need, or what is your valuation, you can understand how much equity you can actually give away. But you should remember one golden rule, that you don't give away more than 20% on every stage. When you're very early, it's better to give away not more than 15%. So this is the crucial rule, because if you give away more than 25%, you are very close to break your cap table, and that means that you jeopardize your next rounds. In case you're not going to raise any funds in future, that's okay. In case you want to raise couple of rounds, you want to grow large company, and you will need some rounds of investment, then you need to think about your cap table, meaning your equity structure, very, very attentively. And who can invest in your company at this stage, right? So we discussed with you. Now you know what kind of, what are the sources, what kind of investors are applicable at every stage. So when you understand what you have, you understand the amount you need, you understand your valuation, you understand what is what are the potential investors. So you can, just build a funnel of investors and go talk to them. So how to successfully raise money? Of course, if you follow that's not a silver bullet. That doesn't mean that you will get money 100%. But these are the things that will help you not to fail. Yeah, maybe I should change the name. They definitely help you not to fail. So first of all, don't rush into that. Fundraising is a very, very complex process. It requires your attention, resources. So that means that you should definitely be ready. That's why don't do that just because it's people do that. Make sure that this is the right time, and you will be using this money, to actually grow, and this is the right time to take this money. Another one is you need to plan the fundraising campaign in such a way that you still have some money while you're in the fundraising process. Why? Because fundraising might take you from a couple of months to 12 months. I've seen stories like businesses with very, very good potential, and even some investors on board, they were still fundraising for a very long time because of a market situation, because of some specifics of their business. So it might take you long or longer than you want. So that's why you should be ready. You should make sure that you understand, okay, if we don't get any money in 6 months, what will happen? If we don't get any money in 9 months, what will happen? Can we survive with our revenues? Can we survive with, our families and friends and some money that we have in the bank? What is the plan A, plan B, plan C? It's very important to have all those figured out before you start, because when you are in the process and in the middle of it, and you are talking to some investors, there's some progress, but still you are not there. You don't have money transferred to your account. That might be very, very frustrating. And if you have a plan, and if you know what you will do in every single case, then it makes life much easier for you and for your team. right? Because you have team, you have business, you have clients, so you have to continue. You can't just stop because you haven't got financing. So you have to continue. What other ways for you to continue? Make sure you're fundable. You have the criteria now, so you can understand whether this is the right time for me to go fundraise, whether investors will actually look at my offer. Choosing the right investor is the key. You have to understand which kind of investor will invest into this specific investment opportunity. So that's why you need to know the trends. You need to know who is investing in what are the deals, etc., etc. So that's important. You need to invest some time into building the network of investors. So that's a job. Business development is a job, and investment relations is a job. And usually this is founder's job. Yeah, so usually this is a CEO who is doing that in a small business. Usually CEOs, they don't have any support if it's a small business. Sometimes you have support of your financial manager or CFO. Sometimes you have support of other members of the team, but still this is your job. And it's very important that you understand, first of all, you have to dedicate time to that, and you are connected. You have to be connected to potential advisors. You have to be connected to potential investors, because this is something that will shorten the fundraising process. Then you get to it. Get ready. As I mentioned, you can't go and speak with investors without investment strategy, without financial forecast, without pitch deck, right? So there are some important things you have to do before you start fundraising, and you have to be ready. Focus. It's important. As I mentioned, it's 24/7 job, fundraising. If you are applying for grants, so you have to spend a lot of time on filling in the forms, talking to actual consultants who work with this grant, and they will provide you a lot of comments. So this is time that you have to dedicate to that, and that's why the focus is very important. And the last one is not to raise too little, right? So that's why financial forecast. It's really very, very sad when the company, just because they they didn't do their homework well and they didn't calculate well, they are just out of cash, and they are not ready to raise next round, because usually it takes like 12-18 months to get from one stage to another. So you can't just sometimes it's like now we see a lot of cases when startups and businesses, they raise money every 6 months. So it happens, but still your timeline should be like 12 months, right? So we get some money, and in 12 months we get to some results, right? So we need to get our company to the next level in terms of client base, in terms of revenue traction, in terms of the valuation. So that means that you definitely have to have enough money to get to run that long, and make sure that you have your calculations done properly. So you need to know the steps of the process so that you are ready, right? So if we are talking about the investors, of course, it depends on the stage. And if you're early stage, if you are if you have just an MVP and some very early traction, or when you have clients, when you have team and the office, etc. So these are different cases, of course, and the processes are a bit different. But still, this is something something average, right? So you have all your documents prepared, you make the list of potential investors, you get in touch with them. So it's very important to get in touch with people. Try to make sure that you're connected with people. If you're applying for a grant, find there someone who will be answering your questions, communicating with you. If you are starting a crowdfunding campaign, find somebody who will support you in this process. If you want to talk to venture capitalists, find a person in the fund. Try to connect with this person and try to pitch to this particular person. If you find some personalized story to start communication with this person, that's perfect. So you need to build relations, right? In every it will help you definitely, and it will make the process much easier. So you get in touch with investors, you pitch your startup. So if this is a venture capitalist venture fund, so you will usually talk to a couple of people in the fund. So you will start with somebody from the investment team. Then your project will be reviewed by other investment team members. Then you usually have, like, you pitch, then you have some Q&As, either in the written form, or you have a couple of calls, you answer those questions, so you provide some additional information. Usually pitch deck and financial forecast, this is something to begin with, but then you have to tell more about your team, more about the market, more about the trends, more about the go-to-market, more about your product. So you will be like opening more and more details. So it's good if you have everything like somewhere prepared, right? So if everything is perfect and everything is good, everybody likes what you're doing and you have good results, so you will be getting a term sheet. Either this is an angel investor or this is a venture capitalist. So usually this is a term sheet. Then you go through the due diligence process. Very important thing here. First term sheet, then due diligence process. So it means that those who get term sheets, they are not 100% getting the money. So it's important that you go through the due diligence process well. I will share some materials with you that will help you to get ready for this process. If everything is perfect and everybody is happy and you are happy, because sometimes during the due diligence, you might find out that you don't want to work with this investor. So it happens as well. So make sure that that you are signing up with those people or person who will actually bring not only money but value to a company in terms of network, in terms of growth, in terms of experience, etc. So then, if everything is good, you sign the shareholders agreement. You celebrate. Don't forget that, because that's an important part. Well, actually, that doesn't mean like you succeeded in large terms, but you succeeded in this process. So it's very important to share it with your team as well, and to have everyone celebrate and understand what is the potential behind that. But also, I always advise to seize the moment, because it's important that this is actually a good time when you get some visibility. For example, you appear in some media sharing the news that you've got some investment. So it's good to be visible in the right way. I don't like just be visible, right? So it's bad. But when you have some good news, so it's good to share, because then you get to on the radars of other potential investors, of your clients, etc. So it's good to get some attention in a good way, and also this is a good moment when you can use if you have successfully closed. You can share information with those investors you were communicating with and tell them that this round is closed and you're happy to continue, and you will be happy to stay in touch with them if they were interested in general in your product, but maybe not in this stage. So you might stay in touch with them and share some progress with them. So now, very quickly, literally, I will use 1 second for each slide. I will share with you some kind of template of the winning investor deck. But before that, I want to give you very simple advice. But maybe there are everyone is talking about pitch decks, right? So there are hundreds of articles, there are hundreds of YouTube videos, there are hundreds of webinars, workshops, whatever. But I'm actually analyzing decks on a regular basis, either for investors or for ourselves, etc. So there are some things that I've just come up myself. So first of all, even if you use a template, you should use a template because, it's not just a presentation. It's not a sales deck. Investor deck, that's something different. So you need to build it in the right way. But still, when you are using a template, don't forget about being you and showing your your product. Because I remember a case when I got the deck from. I was talking to a team for some time. We have been having some mentorship sessions, and they were brilliant, very young but brilliant, and they had a very good idea. They have done a lot of work like customer development, so they were doing fine. And so they came at some point. They came to the point that they wanted to talk to some angels, and they prepared a deck and they shared it with me. I opened the deck with anticipation to see, those brilliant guys sharing some brilliant document with me, and I was so disappointed. And I wrote to them, guys, I don't want to be rude, but this is not like you. There is no you in the presentation. And then they took some time and they came back to me, and then I opened the file. I was smiling because I got what I got them, So you definitely need to show your story, tell your story. For some business ideas, that's an excellent introduction, like telling your story. You might take your story from the perspective of we have been on this market for so long, and that's what our team has achieved. So story might be told in different ways. It might be personal, it might be team story, it might be company story, but tell it, because it's very important to get the investors into your context, to get to know you better. So it really works. It really works. Just find the best way to show it. Make it simple. Of course, some of you might build some products based on the technologies which are very complex, but still, at the end of the day, you are developing some solution for some problems. So try to talk and to show everything in the most transparent way, so that anyone can actually understand it and get it. And because of course, you will, if you are developing some specific solution, you will be talking to specific investors. You won't get with your biotech to investors who are investing just in SaaS businesses, of course. But still, I often see that this overcomplicating things just kill the presentation, kill the deck. So make sure that you don't do that. Check your numbers. If you have numbers in your financial forecast, in your deck, you have market size, you have your forecast, you have your unit economics, you have some metrics. So make sure that every number works and everything is aligned. Because if there is something not aligned, there might be questions, and investors, they don't always ask those questions. They must just decide that, okay, it's not clear, it's something strange, so I don't want to continue with that. So make sure that everything is checked. Don't forget that investors are humans. They like videos that show your product. They like to actually touch your product, have an opportunity to click some buttons. They like beautiful decks. They don't like when red letters are on black page. So they are humans that have human feelings, and they are users, and they are in this industry. So make sure you take that into account. And always improve. Try to show the investment deck to some people before you go to investors, to your advisors, to some mentors, somebody you have met before. Just even to somebody, just not your team. Your team is not a good audience because you are in this, so it's bad. You should show somebody from the outside and get any kind of feedback. Of course, there should be filter, right? So some feedback is good, some feedback is useful, some feedback is just to give a feedback. So filter, but use good feedback and improve your investment deck. Now, literally 1 second for every slide. So you start from the cover slide is actually your face, your presentation. So it should be good. You should, from the first slide, it should be clear what is the company, what is the business, what you are doing, and for whom. So if you are using any images, the images should be relevant. If you are using, if there are some flowers and you are talking about some, industrial buildings, so this just doesn't work. So make sure that it's aligned, and make sure that you present from the first slide, because if it's not interesting, they might not click the next slide. You should put them into the context. You should understand what is going on in the industry or in the world that makes it the right time for you to start. Or probably, as I mentioned, you might tell your story, tell what you've achieved, tell what maybe you have been experiencing something in your past that brought you to this to build this solution. So anything like that, but get them into the context. They should be in the context. Then you definitely sometimes teams, they just skip that because it's clear. Well, it's clear for you. It might be not that obvious for them, and they should understand what is that you are actually solving. So yes, so what is there which is so needed on the market. And if you are giving some numbers, if you're giving some figures, some facts, make sure that there are some sources added, and this is credible. Solution. You explain your solution. You explain explain your solution through your audience. So this is the slide, which is usually pretty generic, but the next one, how it works, is very much about showing it. If you have a product which is already operating, so show the screenshots, show the process, what is the user flow, how it happens, what is going on when this button is clicked, and what happens on the back end. So of course, I'm not telling you that you have to give all the architecture of your solution on one slide, but try to make it visible so that after looking at the slide, I have a very straightforward understanding of what you are doing and how it actually works. Market is very important. You need to understand your market perfectly well. There are 3 things you need to know about the market. So of course, you need to know the size of the market. So there is tam, sam, som. You need to understand what is the piece of the pie you're actually going to bite. You need to understand what are the trends. So the market is growing, and it's growing like this much in a couple of future years. Never use numbers for the past. Use numbers for the future. And of course, it's good if there are some trends in so there are investments in this area. So there are some support of European grants in this area. So it shows that there is some interest of the investors. Again, sources. Competitive landscape. You should know your competition. If you say there is no competition, that's the worst thing you can say. Direct competitors. What is there so good about you for the customer? Not just because you think that they have bad UX UI and you have a better UX UI. If you do, so there should be some proof that for customers their UX UI is actually terrible and they can't work it, and they're just dropping off. They stop using their solution because they can't use that. Or for the customers, it's okay. So you need to understand what is your advantage for the customers, not for you. And it should be strong. It should be definitely strong. There should be a business model. It should be understandable how you are going to make money. You need to know, we discussed go-to-market is really important. You need to explain how you will be getting in front of your customers, right? So it's important. Traction, never forget to tell about your progress. If you haven't started with this progress as a first slide, so give a traction slide. Explain, we have been working since this year. We have done this and that. These are the results we have now. So usually traction improves. It makes an impression. Roadmap. You should explain how are you going to develop in future. So you're taking some money, and what will happen with your business, because of this money, right? So you have to explain in terms of business, product, probably geographies, right? So you probably will be launching in other markets. So it's important to show it, because just to this is what we've done. Give us the money and what, yeah. So investors, they want to know what will happen. Financial forecast is important. There should be numbers in your deck. Of course, if you are on the idea stage, your team is more important than numbers. But still, if you don't understand what at least the highlights, right? At least some metrics which are crucial to show that you are thinking about that and that you understand it. Yeah, you know your math. Team is crucial. Sometimes when you are early stage, you use the team slide and you put it at the beginning, like one of the first slides. It's possible, but always remember there should be faces, nice smiling faces. There should be names and surnames. If you have a LinkedIn profile link, that will be very helpful, because anyway, investors will look for your LinkedIn profiles. It's good to tell what is the role of this person in this particular project and the relevant background. Not just, okay, I'm an excellent entrepreneur. No, why you are a good CEO for this particular company. And the funding, yes, so we are looking for this much money for this period of time, and we are going to spend this money in such a way, and our results in 12 months will be like this. So it's the best way to present this. And of course, don't forget to tell who you are and who the investor might actually contact to continue the conversation. Because what I've seen a lot is just, okay, that's it. Whom shall I contact? Okay, I will contact the person who sent me the file. But you know that sometimes happens. Somebody forwards something to somebody, and it's not. It's just a good business thing to add your contact details at the end. Okay, very fast. I want you to remember, we discussed that building investment relations is important, right? So you should start building it before you start building your company. That's maybe more of, and it's not a joke. It's not a joke, because it really helps you, and it takes time. You can't build good relations in a week. So you need some time to do that, to find right people, to find how to connect to them, some occasions, then to continue this connection. And very important, when you reach out to someone, to investors, you reach out to someone for the feedback, not just for money, but for the feedback. That is much more, It's much more pleasant, of course, and it's a better start than just, okay, this is this is our pitch deck, we need some money. Yeah, if you're just saying, so I've seen that you've invested in such companies, and your experience is huge, and I would be happy if you could give me feedback on what we are doing now and whether this is something that might work in future with you, so that would be great. That's another story, and people usually dedicate their time to that, and they will be happy to connect with you and give you their feedback, and even if they write some feedback, that might be very helpful. So there are some do's and don'ts. If you're talking to investors, come prepared. Even if you're trying just to connect to get feedback, well, prepare a good deck so that they read a good deck, they get every information from there. Come prepared, just understand whom you are connecting to. Who is this person? What is this person background? Whether is this person background relevant to you or not? Sometimes I'm getting some messages which are not relevant to me, right? So asking for my feedback, but I don't have the relevant expertise. So why? There are some people that might help you more. So why you are wasting your time on me? So make sure that you know who you are talking to and get ready and get prepared to talk to them. Answer their questions if there are any, right? Because it's very strange when somebody approaches me, asks for my feedback, but when I give my feedback, they are silent. Well, okay, but that doesn't work like that. Be proactive, polite, and positive. So you should be interested in connecting. You should be interested in getting feedback. They might not answer from the first time. You might reach out once again. So it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. But don't push. But that's the usual thing you do when you try to get your customers. Communicate clearly. Be clear with your messages, what you want to say, what you want to get. It's very important. Just not if you want to get a feedback, so say so, right? Just give the person understanding why you are talking to them. As I mentioned, always ask for feedback. If you are talking to advisors, to mentors, whatever the occasion, get the feedback and stay calm. I know that fundraising might get frustrating, and actually having a small business is a frustrating thing. Every day you get up in the morning and you have to do your thing and to convince the whole world that you are doing the right thing. So it's not that easy on you, I know, but still, if you're not positive, if you are not calm, so who will be, right? You don't lie, you don't hide. If somebody asks you a direct question, you answer directly. It doesn't mean that you have to tell everything from the first meeting, but you have to answer the questions. Don't leave any questions unanswered. If you get a question that is really complex and you don't have an answer at this point, that's okay, that happens. But you might say, thank you for the question. We haven't thought about that. We will take some time to think it over and get back to you with our answer. That's a good way to communicate, and never take anything personally. If somebody says no, it doesn't mean they say no to your idea and they don't like your business. No, they say no because, for example, they are not investing in this stage or they are not investing in this industry. So there is nothing personal in that. Probably they will change the fund or their focus in future, and you will have some opportunities in future. So never spoil any relations you have. Just always be thankful for what you get, right? We mentioned now really quick because we are out of time. So I will because I will be sharing the deck with you, and you will have an opportunity to look through it on your own with your own time. But I've mentioned that when you are going through the fundraising process, there is this part with due diligence, right? So you go under due diligence, and you have to be ready from the day one. So now I will tell you how to get ready from the day one, and I will share a link to the guidelines that will help you to get everything ready. So first of all, you need to organize all the processes in your business from day one. So small or large, you're building a business. So it should be about processes and procedures, and everything should be documented. Trust me, it will be much more difficult in 2-3 years to document everything when you have a lot of people on board, then you have a lot of operations clients on board. It will be much more difficult. So if you do it from the day one, it will be much easier and will help you to communicate with investors. Use software, especially for finances. There are free tools. There are very tools which are not very expensive. So try to find the best software for you and use it for you, because you can build a forecast in Google Sheets, but if you are actually managing your finances, it's better to do it in software. Have all the documents, reports, analytics, everything in order and up to date, so that you have last metrics from your product. You can give last numbers, final numbers. You know your forecast perfectly well, at least the high level. So you can answer any questions pretty fast, because again, it's all about trust and credibility, and you can build it when you are actually ready. So set a data room. I will explain how to do that. That's the place when you keep everything in order and structured. And make sure that you have the required support from your team, from your advisors, from mentors, from anyone who can bring value and help you succeed in the process. So this is the kind of checklist. I will share it with you. So this is a checklist. These are the questions. Of course, this is not like the final list of questions. There might be more questions, but at least when you look at those questions, you will understand what is covered, what else you should think about, what you should have, documented to make sure that you are ready for the conversations. So as you see, it covers everything in your business, starting from the product and finishing with actually the end game. So how you're going to exit. You should get ready answers for all of these questions. Some of them are like yes or no, but some of them are they need some supporting documents. So intellectual property, again, for some businesses it's not relevant, but for some businesses that's a huge part of what you're doing, right? Financials, you definitely need to have that in order. Even if you're a small business, everything should work. So as I mentioned, you will have the list. You will be able to download it and just check, and make sure that you're ready. Data room, as I mentioned, you have to have some place where you gather all the information. I don't tell you that you have to go and pay some money for data room solutions that might be expensive. No, you can have Google Drive or Dropbox. You have some folders there, some organized folders with the documents, latest documents that you might be using in your conversation with investors. And it's much more easier than you have it prepared beforehand. Then you start to make everything work when you already have the conversations, because you have to answer very fast. You have to keep a very good pace of the communication, and it's bad when you are, doing something in the process. And also the list of the documents that might be helpful, except for the pitch deck and financial model. So there are some having a short description of your technology is good, having a roadmap as a separate document, having detailed go-to-market strategy with some numbers and metrics, those things that might help you answer the questions and lead the discussion much more fluently, right? And also it's important to follow some rules. So I don't advise you to send documents in presentations. Better to send a PDF version or a link to DocSend. So there are some these solutions that help you communicate with investors. So be very careful with what you are sharing. Share final versions. Don't share some working versions with mistakes and so on. So make sure that you have done everything, reviewed everything, and you have everything is right. You have your website link there. You have your contact details there. And if some documents like financial model is a large document with a couple of pages, so make sure that there is an explanation, instruction at the beginning that will help investor to go through this document. So make this process easy on you and easy on the investor. And the final thing as a kind of inspiration. So I've looked at some companies that are in the program, and I just wanted to show you that the companies that are working in the same area or doing something in the same industry, in the same domain, they are actually attracting financial support. They are from different countries. Here is the company from Greece that has already gathered almost 90 million in financing, right, from different rounds. SMS marketing firm that grabbed 40 million from Salesforce. Again, you see, Salesforce Ventures. This is a strategic investor, right? So that's important to make sure that you know the strategic investors in your domain, and you know when to get in touch with them, because they are very active, and they are looking for the solutions that will help improve their value proposition. And Sandil Foods, one of the topics which is very much on the agenda today. And again, so this is a small company on the seed stage, and they have just attracted 4 million, comparing with 90 million, right, and 40 million. But still, these are the latest rounds. Showing that the topics are hot, they are interesting for investors. Actually, the Crunchbase is definitely one of the tools you should be using to analyze the trends on the market and look for other companies in your domain and see how they are doing, what is their strategy, including investment strategy, what investors invested in them, what investors were participating in each round. And actually, sometimes investors are investing in different companies in the same domain, so that they have this domain covered from all the different perspectives. So make sure you know that, make sure you follow that, and use that information into your benefit in your fundraising campaign. So that's it. Thank you very much for your attention. I'm a bit late, sorry. So here are the contact details. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. We'll be happy to be in touch and probably answer some of your questions. But now we have time for questions, actually. Irena?
Yes, thank you, Anna. I think you gave us a lot of very practical information and a lot of food for thought. So that's great. Maybe just to once more emphasize, I think what is important for our companies, because they are mostly SMEs, more like traditional businesses. Mm-hmm. So I think these all tips and tricks that you shared, and when you were referring to startups, this can also be applied to SMEs starting some new idea, new business direction, right? So. Mm-hmm.
Yes, because as I said, this is about business, right? So building business, small businesses. This is what you're doing today, but it's all about what is your plan for upcoming years. And you're starting today as a small business, but probably in 5 years you want to build a large company that will go IPO, or probably you want to you see the opportunities for very successful merger and acquisition for you as an exit strategy for your company. So there are many, or you just build a company and you are successful and you are on the market for many years, and you become a company that will acquire other companies in future. So there are many scenarios for you, definitely. But if you want to, especially when you scale, right, when you grow, this period is, and if you don't have enough revenue, so that's the time when you probably will need some support from the other outer sources of financing, right? And then you can consider different sources and different types of investors and different types of investments, right, to support your business and to get to the level that you want to get.
Yes, and you already mentioned that there are several types of returns of investments that investors are looking for. So there's equity and there's non-equity. So with equity, it seems more or less clear, but maybe you can just sketch out how much of percentage of equity is okay to give to an investor. I think you mentioned 20%, right?
So it depends on the stage. If we are speaking about the idea stage and pre-seed stage, so it's even good to think, like, try to get to 10-15%. And then on each subsequent round, it's not more than 20. Sometimes you can stretch to 25, but it's very close to that, red flag. So I would advise try to stick to 20% as your strategy and your goal. It means that you have to think about the amount you need, the amount of money you are asking very carefully, right? Because your evaluation at every stage, especially early, is not that high. So the percentage is calculated from taking the evaluation and the money you require. You can't change valuation a lot because it's like that, right? So what you can work with is the amount you're looking for. So try to not to take too much money, because sometimes I see that businesses, companies, they ask for some huge amounts of money an early stage, like for 18 months or 24 months. Don't do that. You don't need to have this money on your bank account for 24 months. What you need some money to get to the point when you are actually selling to your customers and you're on the break even and you can support yourself. Then you will decide whether you need some more financing, or you can just scale on your own. Because we know cases when companies they are successful, Basecamp, so they are successful companies without any financing for the whole journey, right? So it's all about planning and planning right. So even if you attract someone, don't give up too much equity. Think about the amount you are asking for and where it will bring you.
Mm-hmm. So the recipe is to have these several stages that you already mentioned at the beginning, and to ask for smaller amount, but maybe ask several times, right?
Yeah. And again, as we discussed, so you might think about different types. So you may ask, for example, for angel money, but also you might apply for grant, and that will cover it all, right? So you won't need anything else. So that's why different sources of financing. So if you started with angels, it doesn't mean that you can work only with angels, right? So you can think in different ways, and it will help you to keep your equity in house. Equity is king. Yeah.
So I think that's a good point where we can conclude our conversation, that equity is the key to keep it mostly in-house. And thank you so much, Anna, for sharing your experience today with us. I'm inviting everyone who has not yet evaluated this lecture to do so. There are instructions on the screen how to do it. And I'll just like you to thank you for joining our growth programs batch 6 lectures. And yes, keep an eye out for when we're opening the application process for batch number 7, as we will be launching it already in March. So thank you all, and thank you, Anna.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.